Capital reserves are an account that a homeowner association or other nonprofit entity would have set aside funds to pay for non-annual large expenditures. These would be things that are not typically covered through an annual operating account. An association would typically have two accounts. A regular operating account that would cover routine expenses, landscaping, maintenance, those types of things. And then also an association would have a capital reserve account to cover those major non-annual capital repairs. This would be things like stormwater pond dredging, major drainage repairs, asphalt paving resurfacing, roof replacements. Those are some of the typical things that associations would pay for out of a capital reserve account. The capital reserve account is not used for annual expenses, things like landscaping, maintenance budgets, utility expenses. Your general operating budget and your operating account should be covering those items. An association will have a capital reserve account to routinely set aside funds to prepare for those expenses. Repairs are not required on an annual basis, so there needs to be a kind of a buffer of funds set aside for those major expenses. Oftentimes, the governing documents of a homeowner association will require a capital reserve account. It will state things like the board of directors may or shall set up a reserve account and fund reserves on a routine basis. Some state governments and other municipalities may require capital reserves for homeowner associations as well. The state of North Carolina does not have that requirement. The state of Virginia does have a pretty good requirement for capital reserves and doing reserve studies. So you have a capital reserve account for your association. You have this account. How much is enough? How much should be in that account? How much should you be putting into that account on a regular basis? And how do you know how much is enough? A lot of communities will just take a guess. I've had a couple clients that have my grandmother taught me to save 10%, so that's the same thing that we're going to do for this association. The ideal method for determining how much is enough in that capital reserve account is the reserve study.